Ladies and gentlemen, fellow summoners, my name is GS Amplifier and I am here with
GS Kairu.
And welcome to the Garena Premier League 2015 spring season. We are at week 1, day 3, and we've got 4 exciting games for you guys today. We're just going to show you, give you a peek of the schedule today. For the first set, we are going to have GameX War Gods versus Bangkok Titans, and for the second set, we are going to have Aces Fate versus Diamond. So a lot of exciting games for you guys today. We're going to hit the pick and ban phase pretty soon. This is definitely exciting. We're going to see how these teams will adjust today. So, meanwhile, we're going to give you guys a little bit of a background about these teams. So, Kairu, what do you think we're expecting here today?
So we have here GameX War Gods, which is PGS 2014 champions last season in the Philippines. So we definitely see this team pretty much dominating in the Philippine scene, and we'll see how they'll do here in the GPL 2015 spring season. And we also have here Bangkok Titans, which is a 2014 champion of the Thailand Pro League. So, you know, I'm interested in seeing how these teams would, collide in this matchup and who would come out on top. I'm really excited to see that.
Yeah, so definitely interesting to see how these teams will come out today. We're going to see if one will dominate the other or will be pretty even. This is a best of 2, just so you guys know. So we're going to see if this will be a clean sweep, 2 wins for one team, or will it be a draw for both teams. So we're going to see how they will hit the standings. If they get 2 wins, that'll be 3 points for the team. But if each team gets 1 win, that'll be a point for each of them. So we're going to see how these games turn out. We are hitting the pick and ban phase pretty soon. But you guys should keep in mind that these teams should not be underestimated. They are one of the top teams of their respective countries. So we're going to see how things turn out here. So a lot of recent changes have happened. I mean, 4.20 patch change has been introduced recently into the season, so we're going to see how these teams will adjust, because with the introduction of all these changes, it's definitely interesting to see how these guys will adjust. I mean, we've seen a lot of interesting picks happen. We've seen a lot of Poppy actually recently.
Yeah, yesterday there was a Poppy.
Yeah, so
play.
It was definitely interesting to see yesterday. We did see TG from Mineski bring out that Poppy, so definitely interesting to see if these guys will go for the current meta picks, or will they bring out something new for us today in this patch.
Another interesting pick is yesterday. I think it is Lissandra pick. Yeah, Lissandra is a champion that's gaining increasing popularity in solo queues right now.
Yeah,
so,
actually, she's also been used quite frequently in the OGN recently as well.
Well, that can't be helped, because Lissandra has a really great kit. I mean, she has great mobility, great CC, and great damage potential as well. So, and she's also quite tanky for a ranged AP champion. So definitely something to note. Lissandra, maybe she would get picked in this matchup tonight.
So a lot of interesting picks. We also want to invite you guys to join over for some game discussion over at the PGS Rift using TalkTalk. So the ID there is 171-88811. So do join our fellow players there for some game discussion. We see a lot of people there analyzing the game. We see fans of both teams. So really interesting to see how these guys will come up with these predictions, actually, sort of, for these teams. So we are entering pretty soon. It's actually interesting because we're gonna see if these games. Oh, we're actually moving into the pick and ban phase now. So we're gonna see what the bans will be. We have seen a lot of Warwick picked recently into this patch. He is a very strong pick, but we're actually gonna see a Jace as the first ban here for War Gods.
Well, Jace was used yesterday very effectively by Optimus, and he was just dominating in that game. And it can't be helped that Jace is a great champion, also used by Pawn in the recent World Championships. I mean, he dominated with that Jace in the mid lane. Very effective usage of that Shock Blast combo, as well as the hammer, those hammer skills when he transforms into his Mercury Hammer.
We are actually also seeing a Thresh and Maokai ban. Maokai, definitely one of the stronger top laners recently in this patch. And Thresh, still a consistent pick so far. We did see a lot of him used recently during Worlds, and until now, in this recent patch, he has been used. But we're going to see an Irelia ban, actually, from Bangkok Titans. Not sure if that's a target ban onto JLC. JLC definitely one of the best top laners here in the Philippines.
It's arguably a fact. It can be argued that he's one of the best top laners right now in the Philippines.
Yeah, so definitely could possibly be a target ban there. We are also seeing a Warwick ban, so something to be expected in this patch, actually. He is a very strong pick, very reliable in terms of ganks once he hits that level 6 with that infinite duress.
And he can also clear jungle minions fast because of his... he also has that sustain and increased attack speed, so it's not really a questionable ban for GameX War Gods for in banning Warwick. So I think it's a pretty standard ban.
Yeah, he also has some great sustain, actually. So really great jungler right now We actually also see a
Mm.
Pantheon ban there from Bangkok Titans, and we're going to see what the pick here will be for War Gods. What will they prioritize here?
Maybe it is a Lissandra pick.
Yeah.
So we saw yesterday a Lissandra pick was being used by the top laner of SF5, and it's really interesting to see a Lissandra. So it's something new to I think in the GPL or maybe PGS as well. So interesting to see Lissandra players
Yeah.
how they will utilize Lissandra's kit in order for them to gain an advantage against their opponents.
Definitely a sort of anti-assassin pick
Mhm,
is
yes.
Lissandra. So we're going to see if ever she is locked in, if she will be brought into the mid lane or into top lane, because
Yes.
she could do both. So
Mhm.
I think it will really depend on what Bangkok Titans goes for
Mhm.
in response to this pick. That is going to be a Lissandra pick there, so they are going to lock that in. We're going to see if they will go to the mid and top lane. We're going to see what Bangkok Titans does to respond to this pick. We're going to see who are the dominant picks recently. I'm not sure if they'll grab the Poppy. Oh, but the Lucian actually automatically locked in. Oh, and the Nami as well.
Mhm.
So actually both very strong picks as well.
Yes.
Still in this recent patch, they are a very strong bot lane. Oh, but they actually lock in the Porky in response to that Lucian. So both very strong mid-game spikes.
Yes,
Actually, for both
definitely.
AD carries.
So we could say that Lucian has that good synergy with Nami because when Nami uses her Tidecaller's Blessing to Lucian, it would proc his double shot. I think his passive,
Yeah.
it would deal extra amounts of damage to that bot lane of Gamex War Gods.
Yeah, there's a lot of burst actually from the bottom lane there. But also, not to be underestimated is that burst from Porky. We're actually going to see a Kassadin and Jarvan locked in from Bangkok Titans. Kassadin recently being used in the top lane as well as the mid lane. We did see, I've actually seen him used quite frequently in the OGN as well. One of those favorite top lane picks ever since Looper used him quite frequently in the Worlds. So we're going to see also Jarvan, very strong jungler as well in this patch.
So I think it would be to counter the top Lissandra. I think that's
yeah,
most probably the tactic that BKT would be using against GameX Wargods, seeing that Lissandra pick. So most probably Lissandra would be going on top in the hands of JLC. So I think BKT would be using Kassadin in order to counter that Lissandra.
Possibly, although
Yes.
we do know that Lissandra is quite an assassin counterpick, because if he does happen to use that Rift Walk to come in and close that gap between him and JLC, JLC could just land that W and lock him in. So we're gonna see a Nidali and Janna. So Nidali is actually also a very strong top laner. We could see if Nidali goes, if War Gods goes for that AP mid Nidali or a top lane.
Yeah, it could go other way. It could go either way. So we could see a top AP or AD needle. We don't really know. So maybe something GameX Wargods is cooking up for us for this game. Interesting to see how they're gonna play this one out, and we could see a Jarvan pick coming from Bangkok Titans. So I think it's a pretty standard pick for as a jungler, because Jarvan's a pretty safe jungler and he can initiate those ganks easily because of his combo, Flag and Dragonlance combo. So easy and clean ganks coming from Jarvan right there. So
he's definitely gonna be the frontliner.
yes, definitely.
Oh, it's actually, they're hovering over mid laners right now, so I'm guessing Kassadin is gonna be at that top lane for them. So could be risky if he decides to face Lissandra in that top lane. Like I said, could land some pretty good CC onto him. But they actually lock in the LeBlanc. We do know that she was nerfed quite recently, removing that silence. So we're gonna see how they play around with this. It could be a LeBlanc in the top lane, actually.
Okay, so we see a Lissandra mid lane. Interesting
Yeah.
pick. Which we also know that Lissandra mid is viable too. So he could go top or mid, and they opted to put him in the mid lane right now. And interesting to see the LeBlanc and Lissandra matchup. Who do you think would gain the upper hand early on in this game?
I think it could possibly be very reliant on mechanics here, because LeBlanc, if she does decide to come in with that distortion, Ashi could just root her down and put off some damage of his own. But I guess it really depends, because LeBlanc also has a really good level 3. She could land those kills. And if Jarvan decides to come in for the early gank, it would just make things so much harder for Ashi. But Lee Sin is here as well. So we do know that he has very strong early ganks as well. So we're hoping that if 007 here decides to come in for those ganks, then skill should come in for the counter jungle to make things pretty even in that mid lane.
I see. That's quite notable feature coming from both teams. So, how about the top lane? So, what can you say about JLC's Nidalee as compared to Warlock's Kassadin?
Well, actually, this could be also quite reliant on mechanics as well. Although Nidali is quite a strong bruiser early on in that game, But Cassidy could also last the zone because he does do quite well in close range combat with the shield that he has as well. So we're gonna see how Nidali, if Nidali will be able to bruise him, will be able to bully him in the top lane, or will Cassidy put off a little bit of his own thing there as well in the top lane.
So I think it can go either ways because Nidalee can also function as an AD champion.
Yeah.
So I'm not sure what they're planning to do here because if it's an AP Nidalee up top, she would definitely have a hard time fighting that Warlock Kassadin in the top lane because, you know, Kassadin is a known counter to AP champions because of his passive that nulls magic damage. So maybe it would be an AD Nidalee, you know, just to even things out with Kassadin.
Yes,
and
that's
so
more likely,
that's more which is more likely right now. So interesting pick also coming from VYY and Stronger, Corki Jana, which is quite popular in the queues, as well as Lloyd's Lucian, BKT Lloyd's Lucian, and Valence Nami. So interesting matchup in the bot lane. So maybe it's a matter of sustaining and insta burst damage coming from Corki and Lucian. So we'll see who's gonna come out on top in terms of those trades early on in this game.
Yeah, because it could be really interesting. It could go either way. Either lane at the bottom lane here could take the lead because Corki and Lucian do scale quite evenly into that mid game. So we're gonna see if Nami will be able to land those Aqua Prisons to burst them down, or will Jana be able to disengage, and will VYY be able to land that great poke that Corki has in that bottom lane. Great potential actually for some poke for Corki there. So we're gonna see if Nami will be able to sustain well enough to keep them in that lane.
Okay, so
yeah, we're actually moving into the game now. So again, this is gonna be this is actually going to be a best of 4 today. This is going to be a best of 2 today, but we just like to remind you guys again to join over at the PGS Rift for some game discussions. Again, using Talk, so you guys can use the ID 171888811. So do join our fellow players there to have sort of some in-game discussion. So we are going into the game pretty soon. Again, this is going to be a best of 2. This is War Gods versus Bangkok Titans. Definitely interesting game to see how these guys will adjust to this recent patch. And later on, we're going to have Ace's Fate versus Diamonds. Also, interesting games, so do watch out for that. Also, possibly discuss some strategies over at Twitch chat as well. So we actually have a stream up at YouTube as well. So for those who want to use YouTube, you guys can check out the links there as well. Watch there. So for now, we are going to move into the game quite soon. We're going to see who will take the lead here. Who will take this first game? Will it be War Gods or Bangkok Titans? Both teams very strong in their respective countries. We're gonna see which one will take this first game of this best of 2.
Okay, so we're moving on to the loading screen, and yeah, I mean, in terms of team compositions, who do you think is whose side is better in team fights early on in this game? I mean, I think we would see early skirmishes maybe coming from both teams because that dragon is gives off buffs right now because of the 4.20 patch, and maybe more objective control. And who do you think would be coming out on top in terms of those team fights, basing on their team compositions?
Well, both teams actually have some pretty good fights because Jarvan, definitely a great team fighter with that Cataclysm. Definitely puts down some great CC to give some free hits for Lloyd there. But also some great early aggression coming from War Gods because they do have the Lee Sin and the Lissandra. So if they decide to make an invade, Lee Sin and Lissandra could put down some great damage as well because Lissandra with that root as well as Lee Sin Sonic Wave, definitely something to watch out for in the respective jungles. So we're going to see how they will play out this early game. Will we see some early level 1 invades, or will we see a really passive start? So here we are. We have entered the Summoner's Rift, and we're going to see how these guys start out the game. So pretty standard. We're going to see Kassadin actually go for that Crystalline Flask, possibly to negate some of that bullying Nidali has, as we know, in that early game. We are moving in now. We're going to see how they start things off.
Will we see an early game engage coming from either team? So we'll see. So if ever they do engage, so who do you think has the upper hand?
That could really vary. Although there's actually not a lot of CC coming from BKT here, other than that Nami Aqua Prison. Although if LeBlanc does decide to go for her chains, that could be very dangerous as well. So I guess it all depends on what they go for here in this early game. We are seeing them roam around, just putting down some early wards, a little bit of a support duel here, but they are going to back off. Early ward there coming in from Lee Sin, spotting out LeBlanc and Jarvan there. Back off there. Doesn't seem like they are fancying an invade. They are just sort of hanging around here.
So we could see here an AP Nidalee. So that was what we were discussing earlier. So it would be either an AD or AP Nidalee. So JLC decided to go for an AP Nidalee against Warlock's Kassadin in the top lane. So I think JLC would be having a hard time, I think, in the early game because of Kassadin's, again, passive. So I'm interested to see on how he's gonna deal with that. And yeah, I mean, they would definitely impact the game early on because of their teleport. Because when there are ganks coming up, and then they're gonna teleport from there, and try to help out in the team fight. And I think Kassadin has a edge early on in the game because of his Rift Walk, so easier, better positioning for him against Nidalee, because Nidalee also has that bounce, but then it's less efficient, I think, or less effective than Kassadin's Rift Walk.
Yeah, so we actually did see a standard start here so far. We are seeing no lane swaps there. Actually not necessary, because like we said earlier, Lucian and Corki scale quite evenly into that mid game. Yes. So G4 is actually putting a little bit of damage here onto Ochi. LeBlanc definitely still strong in that early game, despite the removal of that silence. We are seeing standard laning and no invades. So we're gonna see how these guys turn about, as well as those junglers. Ooh, a lot of damage going on to VYY there. It's actually getting really low. The shield's gonna come off, as well as the ignite. VYY gets really low. The flash there, and Lloyd gets the first blood. He is quite low as well. Stronger's not able to finish him off. The Aqua Prison keeps him at bay, and that is gonna be a first blood for BKT here.
So it was a first blood at around 2 minutes and 30 seconds in the bot lane with no help from their junglers at all.
But actually a clash here. 007 is gonna knock up JLC, but he is gonna be able to escape. Meanwhile, in the mid lane, G4 getting quite aggressive there, but he is gonna be forced to back off. That passive did go off there, so pretty even exchange there in that mid lane.
So that would be an early game action coming from both teams.
Ooh, actually 007 decides to stay in that bush, but he is gonna disengage, and JLC is actually going to be forced to recall this early on. Oh, but the clash actually here in the mid lane. Oshi gets rooted. The chains are going to proc that stun, and the ignite is off. So that will finish off Oshi in that mid lane.
So I thought he was saved by that. I thought he was saved, but then there was a last ignite tick that took his life from that in the mid lane. So that would be a 0-2 in favor of our Bangkok Titans, 3 minutes and 30 seconds into the game. So we see a lot of early game action. We see the poke potential coming from Lloyd and Valen in that bot lane against the VYY and Strongers, Corki and Jana in that lane. So we can see that Corki is quite he's quite underhanded in terms of early game potential as compared to Lucian in that lane, because Lucian has that he can proc easily his passive. Yeah, his passive double shot. So which, when Nami applies his Tidecaller's Blessing to him, it would proc also, so more damage for Lucian early on in this game. So I think they should try trying to play this more passively, because Corki would, before Corki hits 6, I think his damage potential is quite low, because he would rely on those phosphorus bombs and those Gatling guns, to damage his enemies. But then it really takes positioning for him to deal enough damage against BKT. So we can see here game paused. So I think
but for now we're gonna discuss that bottom lane matchup. Actually, Jana has to also assist Corki there. I mean, Stronger has to really help out VYY, because, like we said, the burst damage from BKT in that bottom lane is really strong. So we have to hope that Stronger and VYY could last out in that bottom lane. Otherwise, without any sustain coming from Jana there, it could be quite difficult for them. And as well, we did discuss that 007 has a lot of early game potential as well. So we did see that gank in that top lane. They forced JLC to recall early on in that game. So definitely they should watch out for him as well.
That was a fast gank, because he just after getting that red buff, he immediately went atop and tried to gank JLC, maybe burn one of his summoner spells, and they did burn his teleport up in the top lane. So that would be a -1 coming from in the disadvantage of GameX Warriors, because if there would be early game team fights, then Warlock can just immediately teleport in that lane and help out his teammates, as compared to JLC, which has his teleport on cooldown right now.
Yeah, so we're gonna see how the top lane adjusts here. Oh, 007 actually gonna come in with the gank. He's able to proc the knockup. The Black is gonna take her down as well, but she's able to dodge that chain, and it's gonna be a disengage there from that mid lane.
So we could see a lot of mobility coming from Ochi right there. I mean, he used his W ability, I think it's a W ability of the Sandra, to escape that. That was E. Okay, to escape that the chains of G4 in that mid lane, and it's very noticeable also.
There's actually gonna be a clash here in this top lane. Warlock making JLC quite low. JLC actually decided to pounce in for the engage, even she was quite low, so she is going to be forced to disengage there. Got a little bit low, but Skill here looking to make a play. Oh, she could land some possible CC onto G4 to help out. Oh, but G4 doesn't know she's there. Could be a possible engage. Will the Sonic Wave land? Oh, the E actually comes in, but 007's here for the counter gank. Oh, she goes down. Skill is getting quite low as well. He is going to be forced to shield out, and that will be another kill for G4 in that mid lane. Meanwhile, we're seeing another engage here in this top lane. So many early game flashes right now.
Definitely. So we can see that 007 has been very consistent in those ganks early on in this game. I mean, his trips in those lanes definitely wouldn't go to waste, because I think he burns at least one summoner spell every time he goes into the lane to gank. So in the mid lane, I think Achi just went to a bit over aggressive, because I think he knew that Skill was there, you know, to help him out. However, they didn't know that 007 was there for a counter gank, and which led to the death of Achi right there in the mid lane.
Yeah, so they really have to ward out 007 here if they want to remain safe. Achi actually behind now, because G4 did get that 2-kill lead here, so that's definitely going to make things harder for Achi in that mid lane, because LeBlanc does scale really well into the mid game and her burst is insane. So if they allow her to reach that mid game spike, things could be dangerous for them in that mid lane.
Actually, she'll be in danger right now, because if LeBlanc, now she's in level 6. So this is where the real danger comes in, because Achi can counter that combo from LeBlanc using her ulti, the frozen, I think Glacial Prison, to herself to nullify the damage that G4 would deal to her. However, she's still level 5, and I think she won't be at level 6 by some time. I think it would take her like 2 creep waves maybe to reach level 6. So it would be that time frame of advantage for G4. I think he would be using that in order to, you know, gain another kill to Achi and, you know, secure a real good advantage for him to snowball in this game.
Yeah, so we're gonna see how War Gods adjust to this lead. They are Bangkok Titans now in the lead, actually 3 kills ahead and nearly 2,000 gold lead. No Dragon Calls early on yet, but Bangkok Titans does have that Vision Ward there in that river, so they will be able to secure some better vision around that area.
So we can see the culling going down, trying to, you know, poke some damage to VYY right there, but didn't do much because of I think it was too far. He was too far from VYY right there. Yeah,
they possible engage here. The Aqua Prism misses, but we're gonna see 007 with a counter jungle here. He is bringing Skill quite low. Skill doesn't seem to have many disengage options there, and he is gonna have to back off from his own jungle. So definitely 007 really making his presence felt so far in this game.
Definitely. I mean, I think they don't really they have a Vision Ward right there near the red buff of GameX War Gods, but then JLC 007 was there and tried to counter jungle. Very aggressive plays coming from 007 right there. And Skill was just low because I think he was trying to take the red buff. However, he didn't see that 007 would be there to counter jungle him so early on in this game.
Ooh, but we're actually going to see a dive into the mid lane here, but it is not going to be enough. So the chains actually missed there, so they're going to be forced to disengage from that mid lane.
So 8 minutes into this fight and Achi is still on level 5 and G4 is now level 7, so we would see the damage that LeBlanc would do this early on in the game, and he almost has his Morellonomicon right there, so which grants him cooldown reduction as well as mana regeneration, so that would amplify his damage greatly. And okay, now we see Achi now level 6, so which gives him a little bit more window to farm because there's a threat to cancel out LeBlanc's combo. So maybe, you know, that he would use that threat in order for him to, you know, get some farm and get some items for him to at least close up the gap between them two in the mid lane.
Yeah, so hopefully Achi will be able to ward out 007 and survive in that mid lane. He is quite behind now. It's actually almost 30 CS behind in that mid lane. So we're gonna see if she will be able to adjust accordingly. Hopefully, the best thing to do here would be for Skill. Oh, actually the ult coming off from Achi here onto G4. She is going to be forced to back out. Skill Sonic Wave misses. He is going to jump in. The passive is going to proc G4, putting out some damage of his own before disengaging from that mid lane.
So that was what we were talking about earlier, about Achi's ability, Lissandra's ability to nullify the damage coming from BKT G4 right there. So I think it was almost kill coming from GameX War Gods, but then Skill misses Sonic Wave to, you know, connect. Because LeBlanc is a very mobile champion, as we know, because of their distortion. So, yeah, I mean, that was a good engage coming from GameX War Gods, but then, you know, they weren't able to connect in that mid lane.
Yeah, G4 definitely a mobile champion. So, hopefully, Oh, we're actually seeing. Oh, they finally spotted out the Vision Ward there into the river. We're gonna see if a Dragon Call will be made anytime soon. Doesn't seem like it though. No, oh, they actually placed the ward on both sides of the river, so some pretty good vision coming in from War Gods so far into the game. 10 minutes in. They did close the gap quite a bit, although both mid and top lane are losing so far. So JLC is actually behind by 20 CS in that top lane. So definitely not bullying out Kassadin so far into this game.
So we can see there that Kassadin is clearly an advantage early on in this game against JLC's Nidalee. But then we'll see how Nidalee copes up with this into the mid game, and how he'll make his presence felt in those team fights later on.
We actually see Jarvan hanging out there in that Dragon area. Oh, but we're going to see a possible engage here. Skill is coming in, but the teleport is coming in as well from Kassadin. He is going to come in, and that's going to be a kill for him onto Skill. Meanwhile, they are going to try and lock down, but Archie puts down a root of his own. 007 trying to connect, but he is going to be forced to back off, and that's going to be another kill yet again for Bangkok Titans.
So we saw there that GameX Wargods wasn't dealing enough damage to connect that mid gank again for to BKT's G4 in that mid lane. So Nidalee, early on in the game, we know that she won't deal enough damage unless those Qs proc with the long range as well as Nidalee's AP. But then early on in the game, she doesn't really have that much poke potential yet.
Yeah, there's actually going to be a call for Dragon here from Bangkok Titans, but actually War Gods does have vision here, although it doesn't seem like they'll be able to counter jungle Skill just a little bit too far to land any sort of steal. And yep, that's going to be a uncontested Dragon for Bangkok Titans.
So they had
a possible clash here, Skill getting quite low. He is going to be forced to kick G4 away. The tidal wave actually going to come in. Archie all alone here, going to be forced to use that onto Warlock, but G4 gets the kill. Meanwhile, Lloyd putting down the culling onto Stronger. He's going to flash through, going to land some damage. Will Stronger be able to escape? Yes, she will. That's going to be a disengage from Bangkok Titans.
So very organized team fights coming from BKT right there. I mean, they were 5 members strong in that, 4 members strong, and then...
But actually, Warlock going to come into Skill here as well. Just a little bit reckless there from Skill. They didn't have any vision around that blue buff, and that's a kill for Kassadin.
So as I was saying earlier, the very organized team fights coming from BKT. I mean, it wasn't even team. Those weren't even team fights. There were like small skirmishes, I think, that GameX Wargods were caught off guard by those couple champions from BKT just going against them in that lane, and Lloyd in that jungle for GameX Wargods, and then she just picks up Stronger. I mean, even though he doesn't deal enough damage, much damage early on in this game because of his lack of items he had, because of course it's early game. So yeah, I mean, he was almost able to pick up the Stronger. However, Stronger with the time the bush, he went to the bush, so blind spotted Lloyd, so he wasn't able to get that kill.
Yeah, so definitely 30 minutes into the game now, and definitely so far this early game is going to Bangkok Titans. Archie very in danger here. He's actually going to eat towards the enemy tower, and he's going to be taken down. G4 now 4-0 into this game, 30 minutes in, and he has finished the Morellonomicon and gets that needlessly large rod. So much burst damage coming off from G4 right now.
Wasn't expecting that LeBlanc in that mid lane. I think he was trying to go to the tower to make a run for it. However, he didn't notice G4 was there to cover that area, and he was able to get that kill, and that's a 4-0 lead in the mid lane. So Archie getting a real lag behind right now, so I'm not really sure how he's gonna come back in this game, but yeah, we'll see how he plays this one out.
Yeah, JLC kind of catching up in terms of CS there in that top lane, but still kind of having a hard time. G4 possibly with a clash here. She is going to land the chains onto JLC. Valence here with a tidal wave to assist, and she is going to go down. G4 landing another kill yet again.
Good rotations coming from BKT right there. I mean, there was a LeBlanc and a Nami in that lane securing the kill to JLC in that lane. I mean, Kassadin didn't even need to help in that fight. So Nidalee is quite squishy early on in this game, so I think they're capitalizing on that fact and trying to get as much kills as they can before this drags on too far, and they would lose that advantage they had early on in this game.
Yeah, so they're really capitalizing on their early game lead so far. It seems like this is going to be an uncontested inner tower here at the top lane, which is just going to make things so much harder for JLC to catch up.
So there would be it would be a 3-0 turret race coming from in the lead Bangkok Titans in the lead right now. 14 minutes of the game, taking 3 turrets as compared to the and GameX Wargods not taking any turret. 15 minutes, almost 15 minutes.
Ooh, we're gonna see a flashy skill being forced to use the Dragon Rage onto Warlock to keep him at bay. Stronger using the Howling Gale to keep them away. Ochi getting caught by the Aqua Prison. She is gonna use the ult onto herself. Skill trying to assist. Great Monsoon coming in from Stronger. Although Kassadin secures the kill onto Ochi, Ochi secures a kill of his own for revenge, and that's gonna be a 1-for-1 exchange there.
So great response coming from both teams right there. I mean, it was a team fight where you know, clearly BKT was leading in terms of kills and gold right now, but then GameX Wargods was able to pull off a 1-for-1 exchange in that trade. So it was a Lysandra for Kassadin. Not a bad trade coming from both teams right there.
Yeah, a lot of disengage options from Wargods here. They have that Ochi ult, they've got the Dragon Rage from Skill, and they also have the Monsoon from Stronger. So great use of those skills there in that clash.
So okay, we can see BKT still grouping up, and I think they're gonna try to get this blue buff right there. And yeah, they would be taking it.
Ooh, G4 is actually going to come in here. Stronger, going to try and assist, but it's not enough. Skill is going to go down. Meanwhile, 007 trying to make a play. Warlock comes in for the TP, but it's actually not needed. They are going to steal this blue buff. Meanwhile, GLC all alone. It seems like Warlock is going to try and secure a kill here. The tidal wave coming in there, and it doesn't seem like they'll be able to knock him down. The flash being forced there. That's going to be a disengage there.
So if JLC was to get caught with that in that tidal wave, I think he would go down.
Ooh, but actually, it's gonna be a bottom lane clash here. BYY getting quite low. Lloyd is gonna try and secure the kill here. The heal being forced from BYY. He is gonna flash out. That's definitely in favor of Lloyd, but he is gonna be caught out here. GLC is gonna come in with the assist as well as Ochi, and that is gonna be a kill for BYY in that bottom lane.
Okay, so we saw there that Lloyd, knowing that he has the upper hand in terms of dueling against VYY in that bot lane, tried to be over aggressive to get that kill. However, team members from GameX Wargods was able to, you know, counter gank Lucian and, you know, secure that kill against Lloyd.
Yeah, so finally a tower here from Wargods taking down that bottom lane outer tower. Jarvan is just gonna put down some vision there. Dragon is actually coming up in 30 seconds, so we're gonna see if they will get the dragon again, or will Wargods finally be able to secure that first dragon of their own.
Okay, so 30 seconds left for the dragon, and GameX Wargods trying to camp out here. They have that vision ward right there to secure their position, and I think they spotted out BKT 007 right there.
007 in a dangerous position here. Ochi's gonna come in, the ult is gonna come off, 007 gets bursted down in a matter of seconds, and they are gonna try and chase down the other member as well. They are gonna take down that vision ward. They have secured this area. The dragon area is theirs right now. Dragon is actually spawning. The Aqua Prison lands onto JLC. J4 putting so much burst damage. The Dragon Rage gonna push her away. Meanwhile, JLC getting quite low, and he is gonna go down. The Monsoon comes off to keep Lloyd at bay, and they are gonna keep them away from here. That is a 1-for-1 exchange now. Although 007 has respawned, they can. That smite is available from both teams, although they are down in manpower here.
So I think that was a great pick coming from GameX Wargods to picking off 007 in that near the dragon pits. However, they weren't able to convert it into a dragon because of the extreme burst damage coming from G4 right there. I mean, insane amounts of damage. Now he has a Rabadon's Death Cap as well as a Morellonomicon. So, you know, I think he can one-hit combo one of these GameX Wargods members.
We're actually seeing Wargods move further away from the dragon area. A dragon has been called from Bangkok Titans. They do have vision, but skill is way too far. They won't be able to land the steal, and that's going to be another contested dragon for Bangkok Titans.
That's I think that's the second dragon buff for BKT. So now GameX Wargods trying to, you know, I think they're down by some gold and also the dragon buffs, which is very important right now because of the buffs it gives to the team who gets it. So I think they have an additional 15% damage to minions and monsters right now, the second buff. And they also have 8% increase in attack damage as well as ability power.
So a huge lead right now coming from Bangkok Titans. They are 6,000 gold ahead, and they also have 4 towers, while Wargods only has 1 tower. So a lot of pressure coming. Actually, they are roaming around quite frequently into the different lanes, trying to possibly take down this bottom lane inner tower. Ooh, the Sonic Wave lands onto Warlock, but that won't be an engage. Ooh, J4 is trying to put some damage of her own. That is going to bring them quite low.
So it's very noticeable. I mean, BKT's map control right now is insanely good. I mean, they have wards all over GameX Wargods jungle, and GameX Wargods has a limited vision in the BKT, so they don't know when to, you know, maybe engage in a team fight unless, you know, one of their members gets caught up in that area. So I think BKT is using their advantage in terms of golden kills to to further gain ground, to extend that lead and possibly win this game.
Yeah, they did ward out that whole red buff area actually, so some great warding coming here from Bangkok Titans, although some were eliminated by War Gods just now. We are moving into the 20-minute mark, still around a 5,000 gold lead to be had by Bangkok Titans so far, so they are hitting their mid-game spike really well right now. Oh, G4 actually coming in with a clash onto VYY, but he decided to disengage.
Yeah, I think he wasn't able to. He won't be able to connect that chains because of the creeps minions that were there assisting VYY.
Possible clash here in the top lane. Warlock brought JLC quite low. The Riftwalk coming in. 007 with the assist. He is gonna flash through the wall to try and secure the kill. The Dragon Rage coming off from Skill, but it's not enough. Kassadin actually secures the kill there. All three members are here. The calling coming off as well. Skill trying to jump out and save himself. That is going to be a disengage, a kill again for Bangkok Titans there.
Fast response coming from BKT right there, trying to secure that kill into JLC, and they succeeded. I mean, even though they burned some flash, I mean JLC, I think JLC burned the flash also. So I think it was worth it. No, JLC didn't burn the flash.
007. 007
oh yeah,
flash
007 flash. Yeah, he was the one who burned the flash. However, it was worth it because they got a kill in JLC, and that would be another kill and additional gold for BKT right there.
Yeah, so they are pushing the different lanes right now. We're seeing top lane being pushed quite a bit because of the lead that Warlock has had so far in that top lane. They are going to decide to push into this mid lane now. Baron is up, but they haven't called for a Baron just yet. Possibly going to try and push out the lanes first.
I think BKT is fully capable of taking down Baron right now. I mean, they have huge map control because of the turrets they've taken down. And it would be perfectly reasonable for them to take Baron at this moment because, it would definitely secure their advantage over GameX War Gods right now.
We're actually seeing a little bit of duel here for the blue buff. They do have a ward there, so they do know who's present down here. Actually, VYY is quite far. The blue buff did go to 007 there, so they weren't able to contest that blue buff. Seems like VYY a little bit too far to make any sort of assistance here. Also, not a lot of wards.
Yeah, they were the BKT warded down that blue buff. They're really trying to secure those objectives and those buffs. I mean, even those buffs really mean a lot if they were be used properly by the teams. And I think BKT knows that, so they would be trying to capitalize on that. And they know that Corki was there in the bot lane trying to farm, so they capitalized on that fact and moved into that blue buff and got that blue buff.
Yeah, so we're actually seeing just a feel around in this mid lane. They are trying to push it in, but it seems like Lloyd and Valen will be able to push them out. Ooh, a possible engage here. The Aqua Prison lands onto Skill. He gets bursted down in a matter of seconds, and that is going to be a kill for Lloyd. He is 2 kills into this game. Has finished that Static and Infinity Edge, so he's going to hurt quite a bit. G4 also going to try and secure a kill of her own here, bringing VOY very low, but she doesn't have a distortion up, so might not be able to finish her off here. Oh, she is going to come in, but she's not able to finish her off. Stronger and Oshi are here to come in with the assist. The ult comes off as well. The ult pops from Oshi, and they are going to be able to secure that kill onto G4. Meanwhile, in the top lane, sort of engage. Bangkok Titans have finished their 5th tower of the game here, so we're going to see how it goes. Will they be able to finish that inhibitor tower? Culling coming off, actually Stronger, landing the Howling Gale onto 007. They are going to disengage here. The Dragon is coming up in a minute, and again, not much vision coming in here from War Gods.
So that was an overcommitment in terms of a G4 because I think he flashed in. He was trying to get that kill against VYY and maybe secure an advantage, but then he overcommitted and used his flash against him, and he wasn't able to kill VYY and he was killed himself in the process. But then BKT was able to take down that mid lane turret, so I think they traded down a kill for more map
tower
control,
yeah.
And now I think they would be taking down Baron. I think the next logical step for them right now is taking down that Baron as well as that 3rd dragon buff. So they're fully capable. I mean, they destroyed all this first tier, second tier turrets of GameX War God. So yeah, I mean, I think they're trying to back to get some items and some more vision for them to capture that dragon as well as Baron.
Yeah, so 24 minutes into the game, Bangkok Titans with an 8,000 gold lead and 5 towers ahead of War God so far in this game. Not a lot of vision around that Baron area, so we're going to see they're actually prioritizing this Dragon now, which is coming up in 10 seconds. G4 is going to dodge that Sonic Wave there from Skill. So they have secured the vision around that Dragon area, although War God does have some vision as well, but it's being eliminated by Warlock here, so they could have an uncontested Dragon once again. Oh, although Skill is here, he might be able to land the steal. Will he come in, or will they let him get this? it seems like it's going to be a third Dragon for Bangkok Titans.
Yeah, I mean, it would be too risky if skill went in. I mean, there's no, I think they don't have wards right there. I mean, he just plays that one right there. But then,
the possible clash here, Warlock coming in, Archie getting quite low, gonna be forced to flash out of there. The ult going on to 007, the culling coming off as well. Warlock trying to take him down, the Aqua Prison lands onto JLC, Archie goes down, Kassadin gets the kill, JLC goes down as well. All a matter of finishing up and cleaning up here, skill goes down, BYY and Stronger are the only ones left. Jarvan actually putting down the Cataclysm onto Stronger, but Monsoon able to disengage, and they are going to push down this mid lane.
BKT is just doing so much damage right now. I mean, with that Kassadin and that LeBlanc, I mean, the burst damage is insane, as well as in combination to that Lucian who's wearing a Infinity Edge. Wow, I mean, the damage is so much that GameX Wargods wasn't able to cope with that, and, you know, 3 members dropping down for them. I mean, bad positioning also because JLC and Ochi were caught up in the mid lane trying to push there, and Skill trying to help them out, wasn't able to do so, and he died in the process. So now they took down the 3rd tier turret of GameX Wargods in the mid lane, so that would be another step in taking that. It could lead to another step taking down that Baron, because, you know, if ever they would be taking down Baron, they would just wait for that for those minions to push down, and it looks like there would be an engagement.
Flash here, Warlock TPing into them. BYY getting quite low, Skill getting quite low as well. He is going to be taken down. JLC trying to do what he can, but he is going to be forced to back out. The Aqua Prison lands onto Ochi. That's going to be a kill for Nidali, but they are able to sweep them out, and that is going to be a 4-for-1 exchange there in favor of Bangkok Titans.
I think it's I think they're torn of whether building a magic resist based arsenal or a armor arsenal, because Lucian deals so much damage in the mid game and the late game once he has that Infinity Edge. I mean, his double shot procs that crit as well. So it would be very difficult for them to decide whether, you know, magic resist or armor. But then I think they would be they're going for that magic resist because of 2 AP based champions.
Oh, actually seeing G4 trying to secure the kill, but Lloyd gets the kill there onto BYY. Stronger getting really low as well. Oh, they're going to secure the kill onto Stronger. Skill, the only man left standing. He gets really low, and he's going to be forced to run away from there.
That was a great follow-up coming up from Lloyd and G4 in that mid lane. Taking down BYY as well as Stronger. I mean, they're just dominating this game right now. They got I think 13k gold lead and 17 kill lead 27 minutes into this game. So yeah, I mean, it's just a matter of finishing up the game. I think.
It's definitely a huge lead here for Bangkok Titans, 27 minutes into the game. So they have such a huge kill lead and tower lead. Not much options left for War Gods here. They have to be able to turtle out long enough, but no late game scaling champions for War Gods here, so not much hope for them either in that late game. We could see a Baron call to be made anytime soon by Bangkok Titans. They are, like we said, fully capable of taking down that Baron, so just a matter of pushing down into the lanes. We do see Jarvan securing some vision into the Baron right now, and no vision coming in from War Gods there, so could be another uncontested objective for Bangkok Titans.
Yeah, I mean, taking down this Baron would be the last step into sieging down GameX Wargods base right now. It could mean a straight trip to their Nexus once they've taken down this Baron right here.
Yeah, definitely the uncontested Baron here. Baron getting really low, no vision like we said from War Gods, and that's a free Baron for Bangkok Titans. That buff gonna help them so much to push into this mid lane. They are moving in here, possibly end the game at 28 minutes in.
Yes, so I think Jarvan just cleaning up that top lane, so maybe they would be trying to split push. Or, you know, I think because since the mid lane inhibitor is gone, I think they would be going for a different lane.
So yeah, they are pushing into this mid lane, to the top lane tower. All 3 members of Bangkok Titans are there to push it in. Let's see how War Gods will be able to if they will be able to defend this base right now.
They're just cleaning up those
first damage coming in from G4. She is going to be disengaged though. Oh, we're actually seeing them pushing into this top lane inhibitor tower. Oh, the Aqua Prison lands onto JLC, but there's going to be no follow up there. Some priority onto that tower. G4 moving in as well. Doesn't seem like there's going to be much options here. They actually are engaging onto 007. He is going to be forced to use the flag and drag to come out. Ochi getting quite low actually. G4 trying to secure the kill. He takes Ochi down. Meanwhile, War Gods trying to do what they can. Ooh, the passive comes off. But Stronger is actually going to secure the kill onto G4 there. They are able to secure the top lane inhibitor tower though. Those Baron. Oh! Skill actually coming in to try and kick in Lloyd into the enemy team. But he is going to go. Oh, he is getting really low. That is going to be a tower though. The Cataclysm lands onto Stronger. He is going to go down as well. BYY, the only man left standing. The calling is going to come off. And that is going to be an ace for Bangkok Titans in this game. Triple kill for 007, and they're going to end the game right here.
So I think that would be game set in favor of Bangkok Titans. First game of tonight, GPL 2015 spring season. So yeah, we'll be seeing this.
That's going to be the first game of the day. Going to go to Bangkok Titans here. That is going to be game over. This victory does go to Bangkok Titans. Huge lead right now. They did have a 10-tower lead and just a huge gold lead. So sort of expected, like we said, at some point in the game. Yeah, I mean, they secured that Baron. That was their win. Yeah,
I mean, early on in the game, I mean, they knew they had the lead. They had the lead in that early game, and they were able to secure that lead and capitalize on that lead. And they built that lead, snowballing so hard against GameX War Gods and turning it into a win. First game of the night. So.
Yeah, so just a huge dominating performance there from Bangkok Titans. We're going to see how this best of 2 goes. Are they going to secure the second game, or will that be a draw? Will War Gods be able to come back into this game? So do stay put. We are going to be right back. Again, we'd like to invite you guys to head over to the PGS Rift for some possible post-game discussion, see what happened there in that game. You do use TalkTalk. The ID is 171-88811. So do join our players there. Again, this is GNS Amplifier.
And this is GS Kairu.
And this is the Garena Premier League 2015 Spring Season, Week 1, Day 3. We will be right back after this short break.